So, ladies and gentlemen, the next guest is Shelby, and we talked a bunch about animals and stuff because she worked at a zoo, and there was another special guest. I can't tell you him yet. And so this is Poff the Record. Let's get it. Hello guys, I am back, and my next guest is Shelby, and yeah. So, hi Shelby, welcome to Poff the Record. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi everybody. So my name is Shelby, and I am a zookeeper. So I went to college to work with animals, and luckily I got a really good zookeeping job when I graduated, and I just have had the best time with it. I have lots of lots of stories about animals and really cool things like that.
Right, we will be going to your wedding this summer. Where was I? Can't read no more.
That's okay. Do you want to restart it?
No, we're good.
Okay. We will be going to your wedding this summer. Congrats on your upcoming wedding.
Before we get started with the fun stuff, is there anything you want to share about your fiance, I guess?
Oh, so my fiance is a captain in the military. He is currently stationed in Jordan, which is in the Middle East. So he will be deployed there for 1 year. I haven't seen him in a while, and I miss him a lot. I love you, Todd. So yeah, he's doing stuff over there.
You work with animals. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So I had always wanted to work with animals. When I was little and I was your age, I actually had a turtle. His name was Mr. T, and he was a red-eared slider. And I loved him so much. I used to take him out of his cage and I used to kiss him, which my mom told me not to because they have salmonella, but I still did it. And I just loved animals so much. So when I got older and I needed to figure out what I wanted to do, I ended up going to school for biology, like I said, to work with animals. And it's just so amazing and so fun. I ended up actually volunteering at a few zoos. So that was, the Greenville Zoo. I also had volunteered at the South Carolina Aquarium Sea Turtle Hospital, which was so fun because I know you love turtles too, right? And then when I graduated, I ended up working at a wildlife center for a little bit, and that was really fun. That was with rescued animals. Then after that, I ended up moving to Hawaii, and then I trained dolphins. Then I worked at the Honolulu Zoo, so I've kind of been all over the place.
What made you want to work with animals?
They're just so amazing. Everything about animals, each animal is so different. Even the smallest little frog has such a different personality than a big tiger, So each animal is so different, and it's so special to be able to kind of create these friendships with different animals of all different species. That's my favorite part.
Where all have you worked with animals?
Okay, so back on that too, the full-time zookeeping job was at the Wildlife Center, and that was in South Carolina, in Charleston. And then my other big zookeeping jobs was Hawaii.
What is your favorite animal that you've worked with?
Ooh, my favorite animal. See, that's so hard, but I would have to say turtles. I love turtles. My favorite turtle species would have to be Galapagos tortoises. They're the biggest tortoise species, and they're so fun. They have just big personalities. they'll come over to you and you can feed them, you can pet their necks. They're just so sweet. And they're just silly turtles. I just love them a lot. And then I would have to say my second favorite species would be white-tailed deer. Deers are so funny too. And I used to work with one and her name was Gracie. She used to pickpocket people. So she would stick her nose into pockets and try to pull out anything she could smell, like mints, or she even took money out of someone's pocket and ate it. That was kind of awkward to have to do that. But
she was like, my money now.
So she's like, my money and I'm going to eat this. That's a nice snack. So I really like deer too.
So she was like, I can eat metal.
Probably she ate someone's diamond earring.
She's gonna eat this type of metal.
Oh, maybe she would try. Definitely, she was a crazy deer.
What is the best zoo you have ever been to?
The best zoo that I have ever been to, I try to go to a zoo wherever I travel. So I've been to a lot recently, but my favorite would have to be the Australia Zoo. It was so fun because you got to pet the kangaroos and the koalas, which was really, really cool. And then they do a big crocodile feeding show. So it was in their crocoseum, that's what they call it. And it's a big arena with all these seats. And the zookeepers come out in the middle, and then a crocodile comes out, and they just tell you all about them, and you get to watch them eat. It was really cool.
So tell us about your favorite time working with animals.
My favorite time working with animals, I would have to say, was probably at the Honolulu Zoo, because the tortoises, it just made me so happy to come into work every day and see them. And even on my weekends, I would think about how much I missed the animals and that I was so excited to come back in and work with them that week.
What is the smartest animal you've worked with?
That's a really good one. I would say, well, definitely not humans. I'm just kidding. The smartest animal I've ever worked with was probably, raccoons are really, really smart. And I used to love making really cool toys for them. So in the zoo world, we call them enrichments. And enrichment is anything that tries to bring out their natural behaviors, like smelling things or trying to unscrew things, trying to break open things. And so the raccoons, they were so smart. You could take a box and hide stuff inside of it, and they knew how to rip open things. And we even had baby toys that we would close stuff in, and they had to open it. For Easter, we took Easter eggs and put stuff inside of all the eggs and hid it around their habitat. So when they came in, they had to pop everything open and get their little treats out of the inside.
So one time when it was Easter, we went to the zoo and there was like these big Easter eggs and we had to find. It was like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, that makes it really fun for you all.
What was the hardest animal to work with?
I would say, well, each animal is so different, and I enjoy working with them all. Like, I'll work with bugs, I'll work with big cats, I'll work with giraffes, anything like that. But I would have to say, what's actually hard about it is whenever an animal passes away, that's pretty hard. So when I had worked with deer, one of the deers I worked with passed away, and that hurt really bad. So I would have to say that's probably the hardest thing to work with. But also, it's hard to clean up after a rhino because they have so much poop. You're cleaning for hours of the day. Just clean it up, and you have to be really strong to lift it all. So, yeah, that was pretty hard too.
What animal would make the best pet if it were safe?
Ooh, I would have to say, I think the best pet, if anybody could have it, I would definitely say a giant Galapagos tortoise. They're so fun. And when I worked with them, I could imagine having one as a pet. They're so funny. And imagine having them come in your house. They'd probably go through the fridge and take out all the fruit and eat it. So definitely Galapagos tortoises.
What is the oldest animal you have worked with?
The oldest animal I've ever worked with was a tortoise, and his name is Jaws. He's from the Galapagos Islands.
Like Jaws?
Jaws, yeah.
Reminds me of the movie Jaws.
Yeah, but the funny thing about the movie is that Jaws is older than that movie. He's 120 years old, which is really, really old. But for a tortoise, they can live for up to like 150 to 200 years old. So he still has a long way to go. But he is named Jaws. I believe he's named Jaws because he tried to bite people, which is kind of funny. So maybe the Jaws movie was named after Jaws the tortoise.
What animals did you not expect to like as much as you do now?
Ooh, so that's a really good question. Because there's a lot of different species that people may not think they'll like as much as they do. I know one of the species that people just love are armadillos. Like, you don't expect to like armadillos as much as you would, but people love armadillos. I would have to say for me, some of the top species that I didn't really think I would like working with, or sorry, not like, but not like as much as I do, but are opossums. Opossums are so cool, and vultures. I didn't really think of anything of vultures, but when I started working with them, I realized how cool they were. They are smart. I actually helped teach a black-headed vulture how to play the piano. So we had a little baby piano, and we would bring it in, and every time he would hit a key, I would reward him with like a piece of chicken. And so he would start hitting the piano keys, and I would start giving him more chicken, and he was really, really smart. So I love vultures.
We saw a possum, but it was weird because we saw a possum out there 2 times.
Really?
And it was actually daytime, not dark outside. It was just day. And then one time we were about to burn this wood because it had been there for like a year or two, and then we're about to burn it. Comes over here, I'm like, and then we're like, oh, what is that? Dog, get away.
Yeah, they're really cool. So I really liked working with them a lot. And then I would say squirrels. I worked with a squirrel, and I didn't think I would like her as much as I ended up. Like, I loved her. She would wait at the door, and I'd have to give her a piece of grape for her to let me in her habitat. Because she was like, no, you can't come in until you give me a treat. Yeah, so she was really cool.
What is the worstest animal?
Ooh, I would say I love them all, but one of the animals that I think maybe for me was the worst to work with are birds. I do think birds smell, which I did say I like the vultures, so I do love working with the vultures, but cleaning up after birds is really smelly, especially flamingos because of what they eat. And then
What do they eat?
they eat different like shrimp and stuff like that, and it just kind of makes it smell really bad. So I love a chicken, but it is the worst to have to clean a chicken coop. Every zoo I've been to, the chicken coops, I'm like, I have to get in there and clean it all out, and that was my least favorite thing to do.
Oh, this one's funny about which animal has the biggest poo.
Ooh. Okay, definitely a rhino. That's the biggest poop I've ever seen. A rhino poop, and then giraffe. Giraffes poop a lot. And when you clean a giraffe habitat, you have to use a huge fire hose, like a big one. Of course, not when the giraffes are there. After the giraffes are let out to their main exhibit area, that's when you kind of go in and clean. And you have to spray down the walls with big fire hoses to make sure everything's really nice and clean. But for rhinos too, you're taking so much poop away. As a zookeeper, you actually kind of have to know how to sometimes drive tractors because you have so much poop. You have to put it in the tractor and take to the big poop pile so they can take it away. Isn't that funny?
Well, the smallest poop that I think is probably a deer.
Oh, the smallest? Yeah, deers, or maybe a tiny little like mouse. That would be a small poop. And then reptiles don't poop a lot. So like snakes, they don't poop a lot. They're pretty easy to clean up after.
What is your
Oh, what's my spirit animal?
Mm-hmm.
my spirit animal would have to be a dolphin because they are just crazy. And I would say I'm pretty energetic sometimes, and dolphins have a lot of energy. They also love to eat fish. And when I lived in Hawaii, I ate a poke bowl, which is fish, like multiple times a week, every week. I loved fish, and dolphins love fish. They also, I feel like, are kind of loud. When they come out of the water and they can do their little like ee noises, I would say I'm a pretty loud person too. And they're just silly. I just really like them, and they love to swim. And when I lived in Hawaii, I was snorkeling all the time. And I just love to snorkel and look at the fish and things like that. So I feel like that's why I'm like a dolphin. Do you have a spirit animal too?
I would probably say a turtle.
That's a good one.
Let's see. Every time I'm like at Florida, I see like one dolphin or like two, just kind of by the shore, just a little bit farther than the shore. But I just see them jump. Like I see their tail, and we're like, oh, get the binoculars, and we're looking through, and we're like, oh my God.
That is so cool.
How do you help protect animals?
Ooh, okay, so zookeeping and zookeepers play such a critical role in animal conservation. And just being able to understand the animals, studying them is one of the biggest things that helps towards knowing how to help them in the wild. You know, like we don't know how to help them, we can't help them if we don't understand them and see how they work and live. So zookeepers are just so important that way, and zoos raise a lot of money for animal conservation. So a good example is the Australia Zoo. They actually raise money to raise dogs in Africa, and these dogs go to farmers. The farmers use these dogs to protect their cows so that cheetahs don't come and eat their cows, and then the farmers try to kill the cheetahs. So that's one of the ways that helps protect the cheetah population, which is really cool. And then a lot of zoos, they kind of pick which conservation groups they want to like raise money for. So when I worked at the Honolulu Zoo, they were raising money for rhinos. And then that money goes to different foundations that want to go and help them.
Speaking of that, this book is actually kind of close to this. It's called The Best That We Made because there's a bunch of like a bunch of trash, and then like at the end they'll say like we are the ones that can pick up all the trash and stuff. So they pick that up at the end.
And that's a really good book too, because there is trash everywhere, and all animals get affected by it. You know, sea turtles, birds, everybody gets affected by it, especially marine life too, because a lot of the trash goes into the ocean. So it is really important for us to pick it up.
What can we all do to protect animals?
Ooh, so that's a really good one. Along with that, you know, picking up your trash, and also knowing to, you know, respect animals, because yes, it's so good for everybody to go and see them, and it is, you know, fun to want to go touch them, but it's most important to stay and watch the animals from a good distance. Also, it's so fun to, you know, go somewhere and get a good guided tour to see an animal. So when I lived in Hawaii, I wanted to see dolphins. And so I try to look at a really good company to know that they're safe and that they want to protect the animals. And so whenever you travel, if you want to do something with animals, just look into it and make sure it's safe. Because some people in certain places, they will try to ride an elephant, which is not good. That's not a good ethical practice to do. So it's just good to research what you want to do to go see the animals.
One time at the zoo, maybe 2 times, but I ride a camel around this like circle.
Oh, that's really neat.
Okay. We have a super surprise guest with us today. This is Taco the Turtle.
Oh my gosh, Taco!
I got him for my 6th birthday, and why B-Dad? I'm B-Dad.
Let's see Taco.
In the cage. Oh, he's in the cage. Here, let's see if I can help. Dude, I know you've been yelling here. If you hear this in the video, knock knock, he would be, oh, here he is.
All right, there's Taco.
Okay, you can go on. Just don't make a big sound, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I think he sees him, and he's like, what is this? Oh, that's it. Well. Okay, Taco. Say hi to everyone, Taco. Dude, where are you going? Dude, no! You can't do this to me. Bro, why are you walking away, dog?
That's okay. I'll get him.
What are you doing? Oh, heck no. Well.
What's your next question?
Shelby, can you tell us what kind of turtle Taco is?
So taco is a Russian tortoise, and they are found in Asia. They're really cool because, I don't know if I can show this very up close, but they have 4 toes. So you can see that he has 4 nails, which is really neat because some of them have 5, but he's special because he has 4.
Alright, dude, I swear if you poop on this.
If he poops, he poops. Everybody poops. That's what I always say. An animal poops and pees. They eat food. It's got to go somewhere.
Can you tell us more about Taco, like a boy or a girl? A boy or his age?
So, a good way to tell the difference between a boy turtle and a girl turtle is to actually take them. And also the shell, this is the carapace, which is the top of the shell, which has scoots on it, which are these little, I don't know if you'd say that's like a hexagon or I don't know my shapes, but this is a scoot. Each turtle shell is special to them. And underneath we have a plastron. So carapace, plastron. Underneath, if you see that it's like a V, a deep V, that's usually a boy turtle. Mm-hmm. And if it's kind of like a half moon, that's a girl turtle. So that's the best way to tell with them is the shape of their plastron.
Wait, he's a boy?
He is a boy.
Yes, I got him right.
Yep. And then another way too is their nails. So for my turtle, Mr. T, my red-eared slider I had when I was little, the best way to tell that he was a boy was that he actually had long nails. The boys had longer nails than the girls with them. And then a really interesting thing about turtles, which this is good for like a sea turtle, if they lay their eggs when it's cold out, they're going to be mostly boys when they hatch. But if it's warm out, the sea turtles are mostly going to be girls when they hatch. And that is the opposite for alligators. Mm-hmm. Yep.
What kind of habit do turtles love and what do they eat?
So, Taco specifically likes desert, dry places in Asia. And he also can dig really, really well into the ground. I believe Russian tortoises can actually dig like a few feet under and bury themselves. They're really good at it. And you can kind of tell he's got a lighter pattern on his shell. That helps him blend into the dry terrain where he's from. Turtles, though, they can like, all different types of environments. So some turtles, sea turtles, they like to be in the ocean. And then you have red-eared sliders, which like to be in like a pond. But then you have the really dry turtles. There's also African spurred tortoises, which are in Africa. And they like to be in really dry dirt places.
Dude, how are you so fast?
Turtles are faster than people think. Some people say they're really slow, but I think turtles are actually pretty fast. They're very determined animals. When they want to go somewhere and they have a mission, they do it.
When I first thought I had a turtle, I thought it was going to be slow, but soon, as I put him down, he's, fast.
They're fast. I believe Galapagos tortoises can walk a few miles a day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if it's a male tortoise trying to find a female tortoise. He'll walk to go find her. Yep.
Dude. Camera can't see you no more. How do you tell they are healthy and happy?
Ooh, the best way to tell if your tortoise is healthy and happy would be their shell. So one of the big things about like Taco, he's got a very healthy, nice shell. Sometimes turtles, when they're not given a good diet and not enough sunlight, they start pyramiding on their shell, and that will be like little tiny points. But as you can tell with Taco, he's got a very nice, healthy shell, so I know he's getting a good, nutritious diet. You can also kind of tell during certain seasons of the year how active they are, which of course in the wintertime, turtles brumate, which means they kind of like, it's like hibernating, but for reptiles it's brumating. And they're not going to be as active. They're not going to really eat anymore. They're going to sleep a lot. They're not going to go and try to drink any water. But during the summer, they should be pretty active. So he's very active right now. So I think he's a very happy boy.
How come his tail's like never out? It's only like inside there.
You know, sometimes turtles move their tails out. The only time I've seen turtles really moving their tails around a lot, like especially tortoises, is when they're trying to go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Put you down, bud. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you for taking such good care of animals. Now please sign the wall.
Awesome.
There should be a marker down, like in that one drawer down.
Let's see. Can I pick anywhere?
Yeah, anywhere.
I'm going to pick up here by the birds because they're really cool. Also, why don't you show everybody your shirt too? I heard you have a really cool shirt for this interview.
This is a shirt that I made at my school, and it was like a turtle that I made. It's really cool. So we did this last year, I think, and yeah, it's cool. Dude, we have an eye contact right now.
Thank you, Taco.
All right, thanks for coming, Shelby, and thank you guys for watching. And this is Poff the Record. Taco, don't get away. And Taco's gonna say, let's get it.